This one person in particular needs to be called out for his bullshit. He needs to resign. He needs to step down. He needs to be impeached. He needs to be removed. Something. He needs to go, basically. And I'm talking about none other than Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas knew a lot. Now, we've now learned that Ginny Thomas, MAGA insurrectionist, the wife of his Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, testified before the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection that the best friend, co-conspirator she referenced in a text to Mark Meadows about the insurrection was none other than Justice Clarence Thomas himself. Her just-released testimony officially ties Justice Thomas to the white supremacist effort to overthrow our democracy on January 6, 2021. Beyond exposing that he was aware of and did nothing to stop a violent effort to undermine our Constitution, in direct conflict with his oath as a justice, it officially confirms Thomas's dereliction of duty when he refused to recuse himself in the case that forced Trump to release records on the insurrection. Thomas was the sole vote supporting Trump. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to Clarence Thomas's unethical behavior, which also includes sexual harassment, inappropriate payments, and abuse of power, he must finally be held accountable. That's why we are working hard to remove Clarence Thomas as a Supreme Court justice. And it's why we're doubling down on our efforts this winter to get Congress to begin an investigation. And it's why we need your help now. You know, you can help us continue to pressure the U.S. Senate to investigate Clarence Thomas. You can help us, too, by putting the pressure on U.S. Senate to investigate Clarence Thomas and helping us furthermore by sharing this podcast and calling your own senators and telling them, investigate Clarence Thomas. He's a crook. He's no good. You may ask now that the House Republicans, why would we double down on getting the GOPs to impeach one of their heroes? Because the Senate still is in Democratic hands. The Senate put him on the court in the first place. And the Constitution gives the Senate the power to investigate allegations of wrongdoings by justices. As for Thomas's problematic behavior, it started when he sexually harassed Anita Hill and then lied about it under oath. They still put him in. It got worse when his family accepted $200,000 from a group with an active amicus brief in front of the Supreme Court. It became untenable when his wife and her group, Liberty Central, launched a campaign to repeal the Affordable Care Act while Thomas voted to gut the law. It reached a fever pitch when Thomas was his lone dissenting vote in the decision requiring Trump to release records on the January 6th insurrection, when it was exposed that Thomas's wife was involved in transporting hundreds of rioters to Washington, D.C. Wow. Jenny, you're a bitch. And now it is at the point of no return with Ginny Thomas confirming what all we've always suspected all along, that Thomas was fully aware of her activity supporting the coup and indeed was counseling her to hold on to her passion because America is worth it. Leaving Thomas in his position only allows him to continue being a champion of the right-wing extremism, writing decisions overturning gun safety laws, joining the majority in gutting efforts to combat climate change, and fulfilling his extremist vision of overturning Roe. And he's not done. Declaring that gay marriage, contraception, and sex between consenting LGBT adults should be next to be stripped of legal protections. That's why we need your help. It is not only that Thomas hurts the most vulnerable, it's also that he destroys the basic integrity of the court and threatens our democracy. We can hold him accountable only with your support. Help us change the path and make a call to your senators and your congressmen today. And be sure to share the post. Together, we can keep the pressure on Democrats to hold Thomas accountable. For that little brief summary, I'll go ahead and talk a few more minutes. Clarence Thomas is the worst. One of the worst Supreme Court justices we've had in forever. I mean, you know, I don't understand how he's still there. I don't understand how he's still on it. How he even got on the plan. You know, it's like the Roe versus Wade question was posed to every one of those justices that came through. All of a sudden, no, it's precedent now. Nobody's going to mess with it. And lo and behold, the first chance they got, they gutted it and took it out. This is what they're planning on doing. They want to turn the country black to white again. They want it to be the old ways. Gays stay in the closet, no marriage, no sex, no nothing, and ridiculed whenever they come out of the closets. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of them. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Are you sick of it yet? Well, if you're not, let me know when you are, and then you can help us join this fight. Now, we're not going to go to Washington and storm the Capitol, but we are going to make some progress by getting out there and talking to voters and making sure that our voices are heard over the voices of the insane. We've got to do this every day. Make sure that you start your own podcast. Make sure you talk to your friends. Get them on the right track. Get people off the juice. They need to wake up. Yes, being woke is not a problem. But that's all I'm going to do for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I hope you all have a great week ahead. Thanks.